All right, guys, you might think that my other channel, the Tom Bailey YouTube channel, is kind of scattered and just a lot of talking. Well, welcome to the Stick to Mag. Tom talks for a while. Moved over here, obviously the Stick to Mag channel. Well, not obviously, but I mean, this channel's been over here. We're gonna use it for some outtakes for the Tom Bailey deal or whatever, and just think it's best for the magazine. Basically cover the stuff with it, because a lot of people that watch the other channel just watch it for the content, so to speak, not necessarily all the Tom Bailey talking. So figured it was a good deal to talk about the event here and basically bring it up in a fashion where I can just ramble, because to try and type all the information in my head, like I don't believe it can be done, and I mean, I'll forget about a lot of it, so gonna do updates on here as I think of things. But Sick Week, February 6th to the 11th, 2022. Already letters of interest. I don't know what it is. Luke put that form on the website, but almost 600 people have filled out that form, basically interested in registering for the event, participating in the event. So that part will happen hopefully in the next few weeks. Registration will start to kick in. There's been a lot of stuff to get done. The tracks and the confirmation of a lot of that stuff, that's been done for quite a while. I guess I'll tell you how the whole thing came about is, obviously with the magazine, Luke and I covered that in another thing, but on a road trip, and basically just said, hey, there needs to be, if there was one source, I mean, that could bring together all the drag and drive events. Obviously you got Drag Week, the original. You got Rocky Mountain Race Week 1 and 2, Matt Frost put those on, and then you got Midwest Drags that Just Hyde does. So that was the stuff that was going on at the time. Hot Rod is the one that gave coverage to their event. Coverage with big media and stuff like that, I mean, definitely left a lot to be desired. And I mean, that was the talk, is that, hey, the people with cars like mine, I mean, they make the magazine. However, a lot of the other people don't. A lot of the smaller people, and that's where I started. And I made the magazine my first year participating in the event. It was a postage side stamp. I still got 10 issues of that magazine. That was awesome. And so nothing changes. A lot of people say print's dead, but print is not dead. Like, if you can take and make, and proof of concept is where we're sitting right now. Proof of concept is if you make quality content that basically, I don't even know what the word is, but that permeates with the people that participate in the events, and the people that are in that market, so to speak, then hey, then there is room for print. Is there room for print to be a USA Today or like some big, I don't know. All I know is that we're a grassroots style thing. We're covering the drag and drive type community. We have the 4 events in the States. We have, I mean, there's an event in Sweden, there's an event in Australia, there's smaller events in the US. There's also a Canadian event. So the goal with this is to cover all of the events, and basically bring them to a common place. And one thing that I found is with the magazine, since we started it, I mean, 1 issue's out, the 2nd issue is in the works, is we've already created, at least in my eyes, is a uniform type community. That, I mean, you kind of had these are your drag weekers, these are your Rocky Mountain Race weekers, these are your Midwest drag guys, and then there's a little bit of common, like people that did both or did multiple, and but that was a small percentage. And I feel like with the magazine, we've brought everybody together as, hey, we're one community that does the drag and drive type events, and all of them are different, so all of them are unique in their own special way. And that's what's cool about it, is it's not like, hey, I'm running the whatever, I'm in the 10-5 outlaw class, and so you go to 5 different tracks, and you know what, that class is roughly the same. Well, with the drag and drive, you got a little bit of variation in rules there, but the others, the drive portion of it, the overall feeling of the event is a little bit different at each event, and that's cool about it. I mean, that makes each one unique, and that makes each one special in their own way. I mean, I've been fortunate enough that I've participated in all of them now. That, well, the big 4 I spoke about. I mean, there's a lot of the smaller ones, weekend ones, couple day ones that I have not participated in. But not for lack of wanting to. It really comes down to an amount of time and amount of getting stuff ready to go to these. But in such a short time, Luke and I hoped that the first issue of the magazine, we would have 500 subscribers by the time we went to print. We had 1,500 subscribers, over 1,500. We printed 2,500 copies of that magazine, thinking that we would have 500 or 600 that we would just put on a shelf somewhere, and hey, if we pulled this thing off and it was successful, then maybe in 5 years we'd break those out and we have an old issue available, or the first issue still available. Mind-blowing, we sold out all 2,500 copies. So 2,500 copies shipping to over 40 different countries. Now, some of those countries have one issue, but I'm still claiming it as a country. And just amazing the response and the community support that we've had for this venture. Luke does his best to make sure that all the cars make the magazine. I mean, there's definitely been some people came back and they either didn't like the picture that their car made it in the magazine for, or their car didn't make it in. I mean, you got 400 cars in the event. It's hard to get all those in, but if that's your goal, then if we come anywhere close to that, then it's still an amazing feat. So, reason you guys are here though is Sick Week. Sick Week was thought of on that same trip, and we said, would we need a signature event to kind of define our part of this? And we said, yeah, but I mean, that's down the road a few years. Well, everything is so fast forward with this whole thing, like with the magazine and with the response that we got to the magazine, and where we're sitting at right now with everything, that when I was on Drag Week, obviously my car wasn't done. I was just there hanging out, talking to people and toying with the idea, and the people that I talked to are like, yep, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. Well, in my mind at the beginning of the week and stuff, when I was hanging out, I was like, yep, definitely a next year. And I mean next year, give me a whole nother year. So it'd be a 2023 deal that we do it, because 2022, like, too many things. There was too many things going on at that time. Obviously, with me getting the Rona stuff and dealing with all that I'm like, man, that's a tall order to get that done. Because even on Roadkill, I talked to people about it. We had the idea long before there that on Roadkill, I'm like, hey, gonna do this, and I don't know if I can pull it off for next year or not. Well, during Drag Week, as the second half of Drag Week came around, I'm like, I have to pull this off for next year, because it needs to happen. So that's one of the main reasons that I wasn't at Rocky Mountain Race Week, as to try and get this stuff sorted. So that's where I really started to close the deals. I had casual conversations with a lot of people, track owners, about being able to do the event. A lot of friends, a lot of people, and finally it's like, okay, we got to get this done. So during Rocky Mountain Race Week, while other people were on Rocky Mountain Race Week, I was talking to the people and working on getting all this stuff put together. So part of it, the mantra of the magazine, as you guys know, and that's why I got the shirt here, so is for the blank adventure. Not sure if I get to say that word or whatever on YouTube, so therefore I won't say it. You can read it off the shirt. Our part of it with the Sick Week and through the years of doing the stuff is I want an event that was top-notch prep, top-notch tracks, and shorter drives, because a lot of people like me, a lot of people that participate in the events don't get to do the parking lot party. That's basically when you make the drive for the day, you get to the hotel, and hey, you get to hang out, have a couple pops, and tell stories, listen to stories, get to know people better in a more relaxed type environment. So one of the things with it, with a lot of people that have done the events in the past, is you got to make the drive shorter. Well, that's not possible in a lot of areas of the country. I mean, granted, all the promoters want to try and make the drive shorter. Just when you don't have tracks that in close proximity, and obviously ever disappearing tracks in the country, then you can't always make that drive shorter. So I've been going down to Florida testing for a few years now. and love it. I go down whether I go down in December, usually I get the car down there in December. We'll do some testing, some events down there. It's pretty awesome being a northerner because I go down there when it's cold up here. I can get some testing done, and like the COVID year last year, I get back in the beginning of the year, get my rig back and everything, and then COVID hits pretty hard. I was supposed to go to Gainesville. They canceled that event. And 2020, yep, it's been that long already. But like the event was canceled while I was on the way to the track. So get all my stuff home, and everything really gets shut down during that time. Well, I already basically had a race season in because I was down for 3-4 months. I wasn't there personally for 3-4 months, but back and forth, doing some racing, doing some testing, and basically got my season in. So it wasn't as big a hit to me as a lot of people that just do the summer stuff. But that's the reason for February. February, I've been down there in February, January, February, March. I've been down there in December. Florida's awesome that time of the year for racing, for testing, for anything that you want to do. Also, the proximity of some tracks down there, some high quality tracks. I mean, just, it is crazy because a lot of the events, actually I won't say a lot of the events, all the events that currently exist can't get the grouping of tracks that can handle 5-6 second cars safely together to be able to make the drive between them. So Florida is incredible because they have 5 and 6 second tracks that all can be on a doable drive. So that's the second reason for Florida. Number one is the time of the year. Number two is the tracks that are there. So now when I say the adventure, I want to talk about that first because like I just said, the parking lot parties, and I know I'm rambling, but this is like, call this one take Tom. I'm just rambling, telling you all the stuff that I know. Probably boring as hell for some people, but the people that want the information, keep watching. The adventures a lot of times are the drive. Now, a lot of the adventure in the drive is the endurance of making the drive. By taking shorter drives, we have no drive that is longer than 190 miles on this event. And with that being the case, 3-4 hours you can get your drive done. So you get out of the track, you got your 3-4 hours. Now it's time to upgrade the checkpoints. With those checkpoints, that needs to be part of it. Like so many of these checkpoints have been, you get there, yep, it's a great photo op. You get the photo and then you're rolling, you hang out for a little while, but either the establishment's closed by the time you get there or it's not open, it's just a scenic type checkpoint. Want to change that. We want to make the checkpoints a party, so to speak. Not a tip too many pops party, but a party where the idea is to have food trucks there. The idea is to obviously, have water available, have a lot of the stuff to hang out and the photo ops. I can tell you that on the checkpoints for this event, one of them well, I guess I can't even get into that till I tell you all the tracks. So I guess let's get to the tracks. Home track, we're gonna be starting out Bradenton. Bradenton is gonna be the starting point for this event. So we're gonna start and end at Bradenton. You got incredible track prep, place that I spend a lot of time because my buddy's got, Schroeder's got a place just an hour south of there. So a lot of times the rig's down there. Lots of friends around there. Obviously you got Doug Cook Motion Raceworks right around the corner. That he just bought a house there recently, but he's down there. You got Garrett, you got Cletus down there. His establishment's right next door. A lot of other friends down in that area. So great place, but that's our start and end point for this year. And I say this year because as long as we pull this thing off, it is going to be an annual event. Tracks will change where we start and end at, but basically that's the starting and ending point. It'll probably be the same circle that we do, maybe in different orders or whatever, but we'll see on that. But we're gonna start in Bradenton. We're gonna make a drive from Bradenton. We're working with Disney to try and establish that we're gonna go to Disney Springs is gonna be the checkpoint. At Disney Springs, the photo op is gonna be Mickey Mouse. So rather than a car photo, it's gonna be, you gotta get your picture taken with Mickey Mouse. Well, one thing that we're gonna do differently is now you're gonna get your picture taken with Mickey Mouse. It needs to be your social media profile picture for that day. So therefore, we're promoting what the checkpoints are. and the checkpoints are a good time. The idea there, I don't think we're going to be able to food trucks there at Disney Springs. If anybody knows it, it's within Disney, but lots of food, lots of stuff there, and that's going to be that hangout. Day 2, we're going to be in Orlando. So Ozzy promised me that track's going to be set to kill. We're going to have a radio lane, big tire lane, another track where records are set every single year. That is a baseline for where the fast cars go. We're going to leave there. We're going to head over to the beach. So we have to working on places over there on the beach, but the idea is that that's our beach day. So we're going to run along the coast over there. We are going to have a spot where we have food trucks, we have beverages, or a big restaurant that can handle everything. As you know, a lot of the fine details are, not as you know, but as I'm telling you right now, a lot of the fine details aren't sorted out, but I'm telling you, the adventure is going to be the routes. Like, this is going to be not just endurance for the route. This is going to be shorter drives, parties at the checkpoints, where you're gonna hang out for a while because you're not gonna be as worried about making it in at 2 a.m. So we're going from there, and we are going up to Gainesville. Gainesville NHRA track. Probably, I'm working with a couple different prep guys. We're probably gonna bring in our own prep team for that track because when there's not a national event going on, not sure if the track prep is going to be up to the standards that I want for this event. So working with a couple different guys. I mean, if you guys know Kurt Johnson, obviously, I mean, you got Tyler, you got Pooch. Like, I mean, there's so many people that are great prep guys that just working with some of them to see if I can have someone come in, prep that track for us so that we can have that on kill. Another drive that's, I mean, less than 190 miles. Then we're shooting from there, and we are going to go up to South Georgia. 160, 170 mile drive. South Georgia Motorsports Park. That is the home of the flying cars. That's where Ducks race is every year. Actually, Ducks race is later in the month. We're going to go South Georgia, and yes, it's a quarter-mile track. I know that most of the racing stuff that we see there is 1/8 mile, but one of the longest tracks there are. It's got, easily does a quarter-mile. Ozzy owns that track as well. Track's going to be set to kill, and we are going to set records at that track. So that, South Georgia Motorsports Park. We're going to race Thursday morning there. We are going to then make our drive halfway back. This is where you need an overdrive because 75, we are taking I-75 for probably the majority of this journey. It's about 160 miles, and we are going to Don Garlett's museum. That is where we are staying the night at. Don Garlett's, crazy story. David Kennedy with the NHRA, I said, Dave, do you have a good contact at Don Garlett's place? Because I want to talk to them about the museum and seeing if we can have an event there. And he said, sure. And he sent me Don Garlett's cell phone number. So it took me half a day to get the courage to call him, but here comes another train. But Don Garlett's cell phone number. I called Don Garlett's, talked to him for about 45 minutes. He was actually, he had a procedure done or whatever. He said he's all good, but he was actually at home resting. Talked to him for 45 minutes. Just one of the coolest conversations I ever got to have. But end of the story, he's like, yep, that'd be awesome. I'll put you in touch with my guy that runs everything, and then we will get that set up. So we are working on setting that up to where that is going to have food trucks, beverages. We are going to spend the night there, not in his museum, but we are going to be able to park the cars in there. There's hotels right around there. We're spending Thursday night right by the museum. Friday morning, we're going to get up and we are going to drive back to Bradenton. So about 125 mile drive. Sorry for all the background noise. About 125 mile drive back to Bradenton, and we are going to race in the afternoon for the final day. And then after that, award ceremony like you've never seen. You cannot leave Friday night. Well, you can leave Friday night. I just don't recommend it because the award ceremony is going to be cool. Same thing, food, beverages. There you get more adult cocktails, hopefully involved with that whole thing. It's normally not that busy here right now, so there was cars out running on the track, so I wanted that for the background. But So that is Friday night. So that kind of gives you that whole thing in a nutshell. Now let me tell you about some of the stuff. Actually, I don't even know if I told you about the stuff. If so, if I did, then I'm going to repeat it. There are over a dozen 6-second cars, legitimate 6-second cars, or faster, that have already inquired about being at the event. There is 35 7-second cars that have inquired about being at the event. This is going to be the fastest event of this type that has ever taken place. There are so many ex-Drag Week guys, or I won't say ex-Drag Week guys, but Drag Week guys that haven't participated in several years that want to come back and do this event. The reception has been amazing. So, like I said the other day, I would, in a perfect world, there's going to be 100 cars that are faster than 849 running at the event. There's going to be 100 cars from 850 to 10 running at the event, and there'll be 100 cars from 10 to 20 running at the event. That would be amazing to, if pull that off and we're able to have those 100 and those 100 and that 100. Registration, I think I probably said earlier, but probably out a week or two. Details are all in place though for all of this, everything that I told you. I made a list of notes, so let me make sure to talk about this stuff. Oh, here we go. The people that follow along, yes, we're going to have a pass, a weekly pass for the people that want to follow along to the event. We're going to call that the sick ward. So different stickers, different setup for them, and but you're part of the sick ward. In a perfect world, possibly some of those cars that might want to run and not run every day, they might end up getting teched. We might have a different class for that. That kind of you're almost on standby if you're in the sick ward, and depending on the days. I mean, Monday we know it won't happen, but some of the other days, a lot of times the lane's empty well before they get shut down. We may end up having a class where we say, hey, anybody in the sick ward that wants to run, you can come up as long as your car was teched in before the event started. So, now I can't even read my own writing. Reaction time. Reaction time, I got mixed reviews with this stuff. Reaction time is going to be a factor in some way, shape, or form. Now, I'm not sure yet how. I mean, there's Frank Saponaro had a good idea that anything over a 10th. So therefore, you have up to a 10th to react. Anything over that might get added to your time. The other's about awards at the end of the week, depending on how the reaction time is. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it yet, but I do want to make it fair. I do want to make it not stressful. So how to bring all that stuff together, I'm not quite sure yet, but definitely working on that. And the reason for that is the live feed and the spectators. That's one thing with these events, that the live feed, you always see the comments on there about, well, the one car left and then the other car didn't, and then so I want to tighten up those reaction times. I'm as big a culprit as anybody. Like, if I don't have to go on reaction time, then hey, I'm 6 seconds spooling and then I go. But if I'm told, then I can bump in. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, majority of you guys, this isn't the only event you do in a year. You actually go to regular events, so you definitely are using your bump box or whatever you need at those events to be competitive. So people have talked about the wear and tear on their car, like the extra wear and tear with the bumping in or staying up on the two-step too long. Like, those are things that we have to sort out, but I can tell you that I shortened your drive way down, so you don't have a drive more than 190 miles. So I gave you back 100 miles, 200 miles of wear and tear every day. So I'm gonna ask you to do a little bit more for the reaction time. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure how that is. So we are looking at some new classes as well. So going based on hot rod rules, there'll be some slight modifications in there to the hot rod rules, and based on the interest, we'll determine which classes, if we have all the classes or we don't have all the classes. I can tell you that the higher classes, or the slower classes, there will be some differences there. It's not going to be all of you guys all put into one pot. One idea that one idea that I had with it is taking a higher index class. So I'd mentioned 20 seconds before. I don't know what that is, but trying to do a high index class that it makes it a fun type deal. The other is a some kind of crazy class where whether we roll a dice or we come up with some way, and I tell you all these things because I am open to ideas on this. I'm trying to figure out the best way to make it fun and inclusive for everyone, but there may be a class to where you enter that class and every day at the track we roll a dice or we come up with some way that now all of a sudden your dial-in number is different that day. So let's say for example, you got a 10-second car, you got a 12-second car, we roll a dice. Well, now maybe your index that you're trying to run to is 1080. So like maybe we roll an 8. Yeah, I mean there's dice like that. But let's say you roll an 8. Now all of a sudden you got to run a 1080 because you're established as a 10-second car or whatever. So 1080 is now yours. Now the 12-second car, he has to run a 1280. So just something fun like that to put a class together that just call it some wild card class. It's really just going to be a fun class that, hey, how close can you get to a number that you don't know when you came in the gate that day? So that's one idea there. Once again, these are ideas. The other is Top Dog class. With that, like we have unlimited and then we go to Ultimate Iron. As the cars come around that, let's say it's like, well, you got the Mountain Dew car. You also have Alex Taylor's new car. You got Jason Sack's car. Like you come with these cars that come in that they end up in unlimited because of a one-piece front end or fiberglass doors. And then you got unlimited to the extreme. I mean, My Street Legal Pro Mod, you got Schroeder's car, you got other stuff that truly is an unlimited type operation, basically built to run in the fives. These full-bodied cars aren't gonna be built to run into the fives. So we almost need like an in-between because Ultimate Iron, definitely quality class. You got Joe Barry and you got other stuff in there. But as I watched Drag Week, and I got to go back and see where everybody ended up in that. But whether we keep the Ultimate Iron or we relax the rules in Ultimate Iron, but if we keep Ultimate Iron, I'm looking at creating another class called Unlimited Iron. And Unlimited Iron will be, call it no prep king style rules. Steel body, steel quarters, can have other fiberglass or carbon parts on it, and a minimum weight, like it's gotta weigh 3,000 pounds or something. Like, but that's one thing that I'm exploring there because there's more and more of that type of car being built that is an OEM appearing car, but it has too many modifications to lighten it up to actually qualify for Ultimate Iron, so it gets put into Unlimited. Obviously what I'm talking about doesn't affect a ton of people. We're talking maybe whatever 20, 30 people or whatever tops that would affect, but that's another idea in there. And then to talk about the next issue. The next issue of the next issue that's coming out that Lukey's working on right now has Drag Week and Rocky Mountain 2. So that'll be out in about a month. You definitely gotta get over and subscribe to that if you haven't subscribed to the magazine, because you're gonna want that. The issue that will preempt this event, because this event's happening in February, so that next issue is going to come out in that area of this event. Now we're gonna cover some Australian cars and stuff in there because typically the Australian style Drag Week would be happening. It got canceled again for this year. It would be happening, so we want to highlight some of that stuff because that's an event that we want to cover next year to be part of the magazine. So the issue preempting this, in addition to that, the idea is to make it sort of a program for this event. We're gonna have all these entries in, we're gonna know who's coming to it. We're gonna wanna put together an issue that's kind of highlighting the drivers, the cars, probably not all of them. I mean, I have this dream of all of them, but reality is that can't fit. So, but to try and cover some of the different stuff, all different classes, to basically talk about what's getting ready to come and something that as a spectator you're going to be able to bring to the event and say, okay, well, yeah, there's that car, I know what that car's got in it for power plant, I know what class he fits in, like, you know, a lot of stuff there. The others you get to go up to the guy, you get to go up to Joe Barry and say, hey, will you sign your picture in the magazine? So that would make some little kid's dream. So that is one thing with that. Let's see what else we got in there. sponsors. Like what is crazy is the sponsors that have came to me saying they want to be part of the event. Now, I got my Ride or Die crew, which is Motion Raceworks already said live feed. Oh, and live feed. Here's the deal with live feed. I'm in negotiation with them. Everything's not confirmed yet, but we are going to use the live feed company that actually did Drag Week this year, Warren and his company. They had 5 cameras. They had 3 stationary cameras, one on the announcer. They had one on the announcer. They had one at the starting line fixed. They had one at the finish line fixed, and then they had 2 camera guys, one at about the 660 and one at the starting line. So 5 cameras changing between on the live feed to make that live feed top notch. And in addition to that, there's going to be pit shots that'll be in the live feed. So when there is downtime with whether it's track prep or an oil down or something like that, which containment devices will be mandatory. Not sure how those rules fit or whatever, what classes and stuff, but majority of all the classes, everything's going to be like, there is no street tires allowed at the event. Just, I mean, normal rules that you guys have grown to know. If you read the Drag Week rules, then that's how it is. So, and I mean, those rules are playing themselves out, and those rules will be available, but if you're coming to this event, you're going to fit somewhere in one of the classes, so no worries there. And but what was I saying about that? Oh, Motion Raceworks already committed to the live feed. So live feed will be sponsored by Motion Raceworks every day at the event. We're also going to have, like I said, a roving pit guy. Brian Loans is on board to be the announcer, provided NHRA doesn't say he has to be somewhere else. Obviously, that's his full-time gig, so we can't take that away from him. But talk to Brian, love Brian. I've also talked to Adam from Rocky Mountain Race Week, hoping that he can pull off, that he can be, whether it's a second announcer or the roving pit guy. That definitely, Adam knows a lot of these cars as well. So Gear Vendors is on board for the event. Rick been on board with the magazine the whole time, so definitely we'll have the windshield banners, we'll have the unique stuff. Oh, that's the other part, is calling the lanes. I know that I'm jumping around, but we're gonna have 3 classes when you come to the lanes. So let's say that Unlimited is the A class. Well, you're now, let's go Bonneville style, your car number may be your car number, and it may be AA. So not for Alcoholics Anonymous, A for Unlimited, A for you're the Group 1. So Group 1 cars are going to be the 849 and faster cars. That will be Group 1. So if you're in Unlimited, which I'm going to try and prevent this from happening, but you're in Unlimited and you got a 10-second car, you will not be in Group 1. You will be in Group C. So the third group, because you're going to run with the cars that run the speed you run, not the class that you're in. So that'll be a big change for people, but hopefully it keeps people from saying, well, I want to be in that class because I just want to be able to run first and then I want to hit the road or whatever. Like, nope, not happening. Unless your car runs speeds for that. So let's say somehow you sneak past all the stuff and the first day you get to run with the Group 1 and you run a 10. Well, the next day you are going to be moved to Group C, unless there's some other reason, some excusable reason why you ran a 10. Joe Barry goes up there and he pulls a Joe Barry and he has to take that 20-second time. We know Joe Barry's in Group 1, so because of historical data. And that's how that stuff's gonna sit. I mean, there's gonna be some interpretation in there. But Group B will be the 850 to 10-second cars. So that's gonna be Group B, and then Group C will be the 10-second plus cars. So it will be broken down by the speed you run, not the class that you're entered in. Iski's on board. Obviously, no one with Iski. I mean, Iski's a big part of Drag Week every year, and they're already on board with everything. Finally, a car running on the track again. They were running before when I got here, but so that's that part of it. Now there's negotiations with other people that have called, like the trailer burnout deal. Did I cover that as a checkpoint? Did I tell you guys about that? Either way, we're going for a checkpoint trailer burnout, but Mickey Thompson Tires. They haven't 100% confirmed yet, but they reached out saying that they wanted to be a part of the event. I brought up, hey, you need to be the Trailer Burnout sponsor. So at that checkpoint. So that should be a done deal. I also have like 3 or 4 other manufacturers that have reached out that want to be part of the event. That is crazy because normally I'm the guy on the other end. I'm the racer that's hoping to get something. And here you got these guys saying, hey, we want to be part of it. We want to support this group. That is awesome, and that shows where we've came as a group, the Drag and Drive community. And now you have manufacturers saying, this is a segment that we need to be more involved in. So, what else we got? Everything is about the event. So with all of this, the event is going to be off the chart. Anything I do, I get 150% involved in, and now I'm 150% involved in this, and going to do everything to make this an epic event. We want all the drives to be drives like you've never seen before, like not because the endurance of it, but because the checkpoints are a party, the checkpoints are a hangout point, and there's somewhere you want to spend time at. Also the drives at checkpoints, because that, and then the tracks are going to be top notch. All the tracks that I told you about, all those tracks are capable of 5-second passes. We are going for fast passes, like legitimate. I want every record in this category to be set during this event. Now, is it going to be a great time for the sick ward folks and the people that have the 10 to 20 second cars? Absolutely, because you're part of this group. Like, this isn't, like, I know that there's fast cars up here, but the guys that are back here, like, maybe they're completely comfortable, maybe they're just starting out, maybe they're just getting their feet wet. So many people have transitioned from the slower classes and they move their way up every year. Like, I mean, I did it, everybody's done it. So that is why everybody needs to be included in this. I'm not trying to segregate and say, yeah, but like all I want is the fast cars. No, do I want the fast cars? Absolutely. Do I want everybody? Absolutely. And that's what the magazine's about, is covering everyone. It doesn't matter, as you've seen in the first issue, as you'll see in the next issue, we want to cover everyone that lives the Drag and Drive lifestyle. So that's what I got for now. I know it's long-winded. I know you just watched frickin' me talk for I don't even know how long, but updates will come more. Feel free to comment. Feel free to have ideas. Like, all I'm trying to do is build an event for us that is the coolest thing that any of us have ever experienced, and it is the talk for the other year until it happens again. Will we participate in all the other events? Hell yeah, we will. So, and will we wait for next February, the following February, to come around because we want to set some records again? Hell yeah. So thanks guys, and subscribe to this channel. Go subscribe to my other channel, the Tom Bailey channel, because there'll be updates on there as well. So thanks guys.